So, wanted to kind of do a quick, um, a shorter video that just highlighted some tips and tricks on how to level faster. Once you master some of these tips and tricks, you'll be able to, essentially on a brand new league, get through the content, probably the story mode, probably 14-15 hours once you get used to it, if your build's decent. And then post builds, or post that first go through where you're kind of still trying to get wisdom orbs or wisdom scrolls, alks, things like that, you know, some speed boots, those kinds of things. When you're kind of, you know, that second playthrough, you should be able to clear all 10 acts in about 10 hours with some of these tips and tricks that really speed along the entire leveling process. So just want to kind of cover through some. First one is at the coast. So there's a trick. When you first start League, you can come to the title island. Obviously, you'll get a quick silver flask for completing the first the first quest. Basically, you get from town. What you can do though is immediately go back to town, drop it in your stash, delete that character, start a new character, do it again. That way you'll end up with 2 quicksilver flasks. Those 2 quicksilver flasks are nice because you can alternate between them and while you're killing things and building up more charges. That really kind of pushes you. So it's long term, as you're going through the acts, you'll go through them faster. If you're going to plan to do that, start that first kind of junk character you're just going to delete off with like a ranger. They're fast, they get a bow. They can get to here really quick by just skipping through most of the stuff with quick shots. So quick and easy to do so. And then you come back, start your regular character, and of course this kind of doesn't work in all the league types. But it's a great way to kind of build up 2 quick silver flasks in a hurry. The next step, or the next kind of trick, is submerged passage. So what you're going to want to do is, you know, you'll come in here, you'll get the waypoint, then you're going to want to run through here. Map better than I am at the moment. And basically what you're going to be looking for, let's get my charges back. As you're coming through here, you should get to a bridge. This bridge. What you're going to want to basically do is drop a portal scroll down, and then you're going to keep on mapping until you get to the ledge. So you'll leave this here and you're going to go to, you get to the ledge. What you're going to do at the ledge is this portal will be up for you. So what's going to happen here is you're going to get to the ledge. As soon as you get to this waypoint on the wedge, you're going to come back to town, pop back in here, and go down and get submerged passage. Then you'll finish out going to the cavern down here. The flooded depths. So you'll go through flooded depths, get it, get the extra skill point, and you're good to go. Now some people just blow by that skill point because it's not really that important. It's just a skill point. Come back and get it later. If you're really trying to push getting your name up there to be, you know, first in XYZ zone, then yeah, it's a delay. Don't take it. If you're just trying to level and stay ahead but develop your character properly as you're leveling, because you don't have people feeding you flask and things like that, then do this, because it knocks that extra point off, and it does it in a hurry, because basically you're not backtracking and the map will still be there, so you're really just making it quick. Plus, once you're in the extra area, once you're in the flooded depths, you can just simply portal out and come back here and hit the ledge and keep on trucking through your mapping. When you do, ledge probably won't still be up, so these 3 stones will always point you to the direction that goes to the end of the ledge. So that's why these 3 stones actually exist. It's kind of one of those hidden things that shows you, it's kind of an arrow for which way is to the correct end of, or the progressing direction for the ledge. The next one that you're going to kind of really get to is here at the ship graveyard. So you're going to get the waypoint. You'll find that Fairgraves is usually pretty close to the waypoint. He's going to make a liar out of me this time, but he's almost always around the waypoint somewhere. But what you're going to want to do, this is going to be a horrible map, I can tell that already. What you're going to basically want to do, oh, he is really being a pain today. Aha, this is nice. So you'll take the ship graveyard, and then basically what you're going to want to do is keep mapping. Don't backtrack to Fairgraves. Keep mapping until you get to Merrillville's Cavern. Get the waypoint, then you'll backtrack to the ship graveyard, complete Fairgraves. Pop back through the waypoint, back to here. Because usually, when you're in the ship graveyard, the graveyard cave is pretty much next door, or pretty close to Merrillville's Caverns, where it makes it quicker to backtrack that way than it is running back and forth across the map. As you're running through this section, you'll see, I think it's the next cave section, there's another piece. There'll be kind of these gold ghost figures that pop up. They're the ones that actually are on the correct path when you're trying to pave through the cavern. Let's see if we can get there real quick here. Not too much time loss here. There we go. Not too bad. In the Cavern of Anger, these guys, when you see them pop up, that means you're on the right path. They kind of show you the way through the cave system, so when there's a T or kind of a spread apart aspects, look for them, and they'll kind of guide you a little bit on the direction that you need to go. Alright, next thing, let's look at Act 2 here. So, different people have different ways they attack Act 2. Some run up and get the Chamber of Sins out of the way, because then you can get your Herald quicker, which makes you faster to finish the Broken Bridge and the Crypt. On those aspects to, progress. Granted, most people also will skip the Crypt if it, as they kind of work through or different parts of it. I usually go to Broken Bridge first, because it's rare that I ever take that Mastery or that Bandit. Then I'll usually deal with the Crypt if I need to, and then the Chamber of Sins. Then backtrack, come over here to Riverways. Riverways is where you kind of start getting into a bunch of kind of secrets. So when you find the waypoint, you will see these kind of 2 markers, and you'll see Stone Path. This Stone Path will take you to the next section. So that's how you can always find the wetlands. Wetlands will always have this stone path lane. Now sometimes it can get a little weird, zigzaggy, but you'll see it at the waypoint. In the Western Forest, similar thing happens. So you see this lamp here, but if you go down, there's another torch. Let's see if we can find it real quick here. This torch. If you see that, once again, there's a stone path, and following that stone path will tell you which side and lead you straight to Alera. So you don't have to guess which way, because depending on who you're gonna get. If you're getting her last, then you'll at least know which side she's on, because the road always connects this side with the torch, and of course the spider layer is on the other side. So, or the Weaver's Chambers. It's pretty straightforward. Through the Northern Fortress, through the caverns, all that kind of stuff, out into Act 3. Act 3. See here, the slums, crematorium, that's pretty straightforward. Sewers are straightforward. Marketplace. Let's see, that's straightforward. Battlefront's pretty clean, straightforward. So's are these. There's not a whole lot of secrets in this aspect. Lenar's Temple. Actually, yes.
Cool winds.
Because what you're going to always want to make sure you're looking for... It's going to take a second to get here. So what you're going to have here is you always are going to be going up. So you got to kind of see where the map can run, because you'll notice it can't double back on itself or overlap itself too much. So you can kind of get a feel for what's going to happen. So it's kind of why I'm heading this general direction upwards, because it's got to sprawl out. The map can't keep building on top of itself. So as you can see here, we went up a flight of stairs. If we see stairs going down, we're going the wrong direction. Sometimes it'll loop back and give you two options to go up on. Once again, we're going to kind of keep making our way away from the start, because it needs all this space on the map generator to lay out all these blocks and tiles. See, we're kind of getting bent back around, so I knew that was kind of probably not the best way. Get here. We're going to go this way. Look for long passageways. They lead to stairs. Now there's one other piece here. So there's a cart, like a single cart, and then there's a dual cart. The dual cart leads you to the dead end. So you end up in a dead end. So you can just shave yourself a half fraction second off, saying, oh hey, here's the single cart, that's the dual cart, so I gotta go this way. From that point on, it's pretty straightforward to the end. And that's pretty much it for this guy. Scepter of God's pretty straightforward. What you will notice when you're doing Scepter of God is you kind of have this back and forth, up and down process. You're going to end up zigzagging the map. For the most part, just wanted to find one here. So these are the stairs down, and what we're going to probably find is that the stairs up are going to be kind of at one of two directions. They're either going to be to the bottom left like this way, or bottom right this way. Once again, it's kind of a zigzag pattern. It's not always 100%, but it's kind of, they're always kind of at a diagonal, or at least you want to push the map that direction and then see which way it generates. As you can see, we kind of had to go down and around to get here at a diagonal. And then once again, we're going to have the same scenario happen here. We're going to be kind of working upwards. One thing on the upper Scepter of God is you have to pass by this kind of structure, which is kind of the two pipes for the Scion and the Scion prison. So this shape kind of exists, so when you see it, you've got to run by it. So if you see that shape appear on the map, it gives you a heads up of where you're going to have to run through or by to keep progressing. Usually. Like I said, the maps are randomly generated, so there's some variances to these rules, because we can kind of go around that. Let's see here, I missed the top part. once again, we had to run to a diagonal. So we're back at another diagonal, and we're going to kind of swing back around this way. The thing to remember is each... it's going to be the other way. Other diagonal. Each map, or each kind of like the Interceptor God actually exists inside of itself in one plane. The maps are just kind of hidden and spread out so far that you can't see them overlap. Usually you'll run into some cases where they will. Once again, we're kind of doing this back and forth zigzag up and down stairs. So just kind of want to point that out real quick here. Just helps you figure which way to map through it. Act 4. Highgate's pretty straightforward. Nothing too complicated. In Combs' Dream, let's see if we can pull this off here. In Combs' Dream, they've changed it. It's almost a static map now in how it runs. So you're going to always kind of come up this way, kind of gain some height here a little bit. Then you're always going to kind of pop across this ledge as one of your first turns. And then you'll just kind of flip back around and go back the other direction. You kind of just zigzag up the mountain. Kind of back and forth like this. And then we're going to kind of zig back. So this one's kind of always a set map now. It used to be really random and kind of annoying, and they simplified the heck out of it. Act 5, once again, pretty straightforward, or back in Act 4, the ascent's pretty straightforward. Act 5, the slave pens, you're going to kind of have to go around in a big loop, or a big circle. Control blocks. In the control blocks, there's, if you have a teleport skill, or a movement skill that does teleport you around, you can save yourself tons and tons of runtime. Because what you're going to end up basically having is these scenarios where the fence is broken. You can jump down through. I can get there real quick here. So here, where this is broken, we can flame dash down, and usually straight across is another opportunity to go straight back up. If you don't have that option, what you end up running is running all the way down, coming back around, then coming back up, and then running back down. So having a movement skill here does pay off quite big. Same thing for the bridges in Act 2, where you can jump across the creeks where the bridges are broken. Let's see here. Anything else? Cathedral rooftops pretty. The torch courts. So in the torch courts, you've got to always go up first, and then across the kind of the top of the map, then back down the right side, and then across the bottom and back into the door. So it's kind of like a big circle, but you always got to go up, to the right, down, to the left. So you always want to be kind of just thinking in that way, like just staying to the top outer circle of that map is the fastest way to get through it. Once you're in the Chamber of Innocence, there's one place where you have to kind of pay attention where you're coming up for them. So you can see which way this is functioning. So you kind of got to make this, it's kind of the same thing where you're making a big circle. And you got to get to, it's kind of, I call it the crossover segment. This. So when you get to this, you have to kind of come up this flight of stairs, and then come back around through here, and back down, kind of this up and over. And then after you do that, you can just basically start paving straight across, and you'll find your way to where you need to be. So you're kind of zigzagging down. So it's kind of this great big horseshoe that you have to run. Because if you try going down this way, you're just wasting time. Just immediately run kind of to that left bottom left until you get across this horseshoe turn kind of angle. Part 2, Act 6. Coast, mudflats, title, that's all the same. Karui Fortress, pretty straightforward. The ridge is straight. The prison's easy. Prison gate's the same. Western Forest, you're just kind of blowing through. Riverways, same thing as back in Act 2. The waypoint, it will lead you, oops, wrong one. You should see, yes, these two icons, or these two pillars, and then the road again that takes you back over. Same thing. Next one over, Southern Forest, which is kind of will be a little bit backwards to run, but there's always there's a set pattern with a bridge that you have to cross over. A set of tree bridges. You got to take the tree bridges that are against the top of the woods there. Beacon straightforward, Brine King's easy. Bridge encampment, Broken Bridge, straightforward with the crossroads. Come in, do those. That's simple. The den's easy. Action Field's fine. Northern Forest is straightforward. Causeways are pretty straightforward. Val City, you've kind of got to spiral around a little bit. So what you're gonna have to do is leave here, kind of doing this backwards, and then you gotta kind of expand out because you see this is kind of trapped in here. So you kind of got to go out and around to get there. From the beginning of the map. You can't just go there straight. It's kind of sheltered off, usually. And I'll kind of show you what that means. So, see how this creates a square? Clear all this stuff off here. So we have this kind of blocked in square that we have to get into. So we would normally start the map kind of down over this area. You got to work your way through the map to get here and kind of pushed into this separate square. It's kind of a big square that always generates on its own that then attaches somewhere on this kind of upper right hand corner. So that should help you with that kind of mapping to this place, because this place can get pain in the butt to map through. Temple Decay's fine. Act 8, pretty straightforward. With the quay, of course, you got to find the bridge. The bridge is usually the bridge to the chest, usually quite quick to find towards the beginning of the map. So the grain gate. So there's a trick here to the grain gate, and I hate that I'm at the back side of it. So, but what I want to show you guys, because it's going to be, all right, actually that'll work. So there's the quay. So when you're trying to figure your way through all these city spots for the grain gate, there's actually a trick. So this area is just an empty box. This area, which if you look here, has a dead guard or dead body next to it. That dead body means it's the right way to go. So it's the building that's going to basically pass you through. That's not a dead end. So as you're looking through these doors, this is just a square. It's not where we want to be. This one's got the dead body. That's the one we're going to go through. Just grab this red in case I don't have them already.
First ones look upon this capture with pride, Exile.
So those dead bodies will basically tell you how to get through the grain gate without spending any time wasting looking through all these other like sub-building squares and things like that are all stuck. again, we're back there's the other body, so we know that's the cut through, so I won't keep lingering on that. That's just how it works. Pretty straightforward with the fields. There's a road, just follow it. Solaris Temple, straightforward. Same thing with Lunaris Temple. Once again, same thing again, same mechanic. Hitting upstairs, hitting away from places where it can't backtrack on top of itself will get you through there. Act 9, pretty straightforward. One thing I usually do in the foothills is I'll grab the waypoint and then go ahead and go to the tunnel and get the tunnel's waypoint. And sometimes I even come through and get the quarry and then backtrack and finish all the side questing. Because this waypoint is always right next to the Bowling Lake, so there's no need to go to Bowling Lake, lose this map instance, have to come back and rework this map instance, because you got to basically go to the tunnel through there. Now if you complete some of the quests there in the foothills and you don't need to go back, you're still saving yourself some hassle. Refinery, pretty straightforward. It's just a set of blocks. Belly to Beast and Riding Core straight. Act 10, pretty straightforward. Not too much of a hidden trick to getting through some of these. The one thing to notice that I typically come into the Rabbit Square, I don't even get the waypoint. I immediately go here, get the control blocks, get that waypoint, complete it, teleport out to town, and then use the control blocks waypoint to keep circling around the square to the Rectory. Rectory has a waypoint, so I can run it, teleport back to town, pop back into the Rectory, keep going around till I basically get to this waypoint, which then feeds me over into the Torch Courts. Torch Courts work just like they do in Act 5. Again, where it's a big U-shape, so you're basically just making the same kind of U-shape you've done before. Getting over into Desecrated Chambers, it has the same up and over U-shape, just as it did in Act 5. So you got to make sure you follow that same path. And then you have basically just going through the canals and the feeding troughs. And of course the ossuary, which is right next to this waypoint, makes it pretty quick and simple. So just want to point out some of those quick shave some time off tidbits that kind of just help with that leveling pieces. Kind of just let you complete things a few minutes faster, but with 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 of them kind of hidden out there, laying out there in the game, it kind of, you know, shaves a decent amount of time off. It really helps prevent backtracking. If you do those few little things, because you're not backtracking, you can go ahead and just knock them off the list, those side quests off. That way you're not stuck getting to the end game and having like 20 or 30 points of side quests to go back and do. Because you need the points at that moment. You've already got them done, they're completed, you just move on. So yeah, hope this helped some of your newer guys to the game, or even some vets that might not have paid attention to some of those hidden little markers. There's a few other kind of hidden markers like that throughout the game, but none that really impact leveling. They're more of just kind of interesting facts or factoids and things, which I might do in another video of why things are what they are. Like, why are there dead guards in that map versus others. But anyways, hope you like and subscribe. Thanks.